Early look at what we should be expecting today with Stan Chamu from IG in Melbourne. First of all, it seems like the Bank of Japan will be the major global event on currency traders' minds this week, certainly. We've been speaking to a few analysts and currency traders this morning who say we're really watching that inflation target and whether it's a near-term or a long-term matter. Is that what you're keeping an eye on, Stan?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be all about positioning ahead of the BOJ decision or meeting tomorrow, I suppose. Of course, this has been gaining traction over the past few weeks, and this has really been telling in the price action for the dollar-yen, which has continued on that big climb through to 90, and obviously traded at new highs. I think 30-month highs on Friday of around 90.21. So it really is all about Japan today. We will probably continue to see some sort of bidding ahead of the decision as investors speculate that we'll get a favourable monetary easing sort of policy over for the next sort of medium to long term. The main issue will be the inflation target, which is expected to be raised to 2%, and of course potentially an additional 10 trillion yen in asset purchases or added to their current asset purchase program. At the same time, I think that the stars are really aligning between the BOJ's policies and the government's policies. Of course, the BOJ doesn't seem to have much of a choice in the matter at the moment because, of course, the new government's been well bent or focused on resuscitating the Japanese economy for a while now. So it's really been something that's been well documented. At the same time, with a new BOJ governor due pretty soon, I think we will end up seeing someone who's very aligned to what the government wants to see happen in the economy going forward. So this will support the Nikkei and the dollar-yen today. We do expect that weakness in the yen to feed through to the Nikkei, which we're calling up around 1.1%. So it could actually test 11,000 as early as today, especially ahead of the BOJ decision. I think the speculators will be in charge today, and potentially the price action in Japan will dictate what happens with the rest of the region. Of course, we can't forget that the US is closed for that Martin Luther King Day holiday, and at the same time they've got the president's inauguration going on, so that will probably be quiet on that front. But we will get a few more leads once the US comes back, particularly on this short-term increase to the debt limit that was well documented on Friday, and I think this will be the key issue to look out for, particularly if the Republicans are feeling like it should come with some sort of spending cuts. Then that might be a little bit negative, but if it doesn't come with spending cuts, then this could give risk a kicker as we get towards the midweek.
Stan, in terms of that policy meeting in Japan tomorrow, there are so many expectations built into it. Do you think if we see the 2% inflation target, which is expected, the 10 trillion yen, could that even disappoint markets? Could we see the yen move up on the back of that?
Look, the sell effect affair is probably going to be something to look out for with both the dollar-yen and the Nikkei as well. But we might see a situation where we get a joint statement from the BOJ and the government just pledging that their commitment to resuscitating the economy, and this might give this might see a recovery from the lows after we get sold off as the announcement hits the wires. So that's probably the main issue to look out for. Probably a lot of traders will close out of positions as soon as the announcement's made, and then once we start getting rhetoric about the future and what the government and BOJ plan to do together, then maybe we might see the dips bought up and the dollar-yen recover as well as the Nikkei.
Okay, what about the local market today? It seems like we've got a fairly quiet start to the day, not too much news out. What are you looking for?
Yeah, it seems like it might be a fairly subdued start to the session. We're currently calling the Aussie market up 0.4% to about 47.89, but of course this is based on Saturday morning's close for the futures, so it makes it a little bit hard to get a very accurate read. But with the way risk currencies have opened this morning, they've been fairly mixed as well. We've got the the euro dollar dropping back to 133, but the Aussie dollar very steady at around that 1051. So it seems like it's a fairly subdued open that we're in for. Of course, if we open around that 47.89 mark, we'll be testing last week's highs of around 47.87. So that will definitely be the key level to look out for. We might see a little bit of profit taking Like I was saying before, probably the majority of the leads in the region will be from Japan today. That will definitely affect the price action locally as well. Just looking a little bit more stock specific, we're looking at a firmer start for BHP, up about 0.2%. Rio Tinto might get a bit of a kicker as well. They were up fairly well in London on Friday, and it really does seem like they're gaining traction after that change in leadership. At the same time, there's a story just going around suggesting that Rio might also be looking at a buyback, so this might help underpin its stock today. Elsewhere, we've got the likes of Sims Metal. That might get a bit of a hit or take a bit of a hit after that news that they overstated their inventories in the UK business there. They were testing $10 last week, so we might see a pullback from that $10 level. Yeah, apart from that, we'll probably see the defensives and the yield plays continue to sort of get a bit of support, particularly in this uncertain environment that we're entering in a market that looks like it's been overextended. So yeah, there are a few things to look out for. Not too much, nothing on the local economic data front, so we might be in for a fairly quiet session until Japan comes online.
Okay, Stan Shamu from IG, thanks for checking in. Well, 9 network lenders will